We said integrity was made up of Tom, which is made the three characters, Tau and Final Mem. Tau being 400 means sign marker, and Mem, which is Final Mem, is 600, and it is Mem amplified. And it means complete, blameless, perfect, upright. And then Tamim is the direct translation of perfect, and it is made of Tau, Mem, Yod, and Final Mem. And Tau is 400, means sign marker. Mem is 40, it's life, chaos, blood, water. And Yod is 10, which is sparkle creation, and Final Mem is 600, and it's just Mem amplified.
Okay, now, once again, running it back, what is the difference in Tom and Tamim, like when you deal with them in their definition distinct?
Tom is directly meaning integrity, and Tamim means perfect.
That's right. But it doesn't translate back to integrity. Only Tom does. That's right. Okay, so that's Tom and Tamim. The next word will be Yashar. Indeed, what we're looking at now is a cocktail of Hebrew words that actually make up integrity outside of Tom, because it is integrity. So when we're dealing with the Tamim, Yashar, and Nakif, these are the ones that I've chosen that look like it would be a perfect blend to actually make up integrity.
So Yashar means straight, level, upright, honest, or straightforward. It's numeric. It's Ivri characters are Yod, Shin, and Resh. Yod's numerical value is 10. It means spark of creation and where action takes place. Shin is numerical value for Shin is 300. It means destroy, separate, and consume. And the numerical value for Resh is 200, and it means head, authority, and a beginning.
So dealing with Yashar, it actually can be more physical at times than mental. I mean, it's a thing, it's like there's so much, it can get away from actually the actual intellectual integrity and what you have in the heart. It can get to just, you can actually go for just being upright. And that's the thing. So, okay, so the next word would be Naki.
Well, Naki means free of guilt, pure, innocent, like clean and stuff. And it's made up of the three Avrit characters, Nun, Kuf, and Yod. And Nun's numerical value is 50. And it means light, and it's also symbolic of water. And then we have Kuf, the numerical value is 100. And it means set apart, it was like, yeah. And then Yod's numerical value is 10. And it means like a breath of spark of creation, like the function, the place where action takes place, like completion, divine order.
First, I'll just give an example, like go get me an apple. Give me an apple. Right there in the thing. I just got an example. I want to do it, something that came up. Give me an apple. And we're going to kind of do this integrity thing for us, like from Tom. Like when I have this apple in my hand, it smells like an apple, looks like an apple. When I bite into it, more than likely, it's going to taste like an apple. And if that does anything different, that tastes like a grape or tastes like a banana or something of that nature, then it's not true. I mean, it lacks the actual presence of what it is, and it's kind of like having no integrity, because it's like, if you present yourself as something, then you should be that. It's like, it shouldn't be a case where if someone else isn't around, you feel comfortable doing something you wouldn't do if certain ones were around that would actually make you be held accountable. And it's the case when he told Abraham, and he said, walk before me and be thou perfect. The thing is, people walk before people being perfect. They don't walk before the Most High being perfect. But when you walk before the Most High and be perfect, you understand that he's watching in the eyes of the Most High is looking at you at all times. So if you know that, you're walking before him. And that means that if someone isn't watching, you're not going to do something that actually would tarnish your integrity. Like if someone is in front of you and they drop $50 out of their pocket. I mean, back in school times when we were kids, like if somebody dropped some money, the first person that saw the money would probably step on it and try to hide it, because they know that if they see it visibly and the person didn't see it that dropped it, if everybody else see it, everybody's going to say it's theirs and they're going to get the fight. You know what I mean? So that's the thing, but that's no integrity. But integrity says that this person dropped the money and I'm going to actually let them know, hey, look, you dropped this. That's integrity. Integrity can do the right thing when nobody is watching. Tom, the right thing when no one is watching, but when it has to be a case where you need an open show in order to do the right thing, where people have to be watching you, then you're not doing what he told Abraham, which is walk before me and be thou perfect. He was just saying in the sense that you're walking before me and you're being blameless in this aspect of knowing that you're with me and I'm with you. We have this actual, this union, this communion that we have that we're doing, as we walk one with another, but it's not about anybody else and per se for us. Like when it comes to doing the right thing, you have to understand that the integrity kicks in, knowing that the Most High is watching you, not that somebody didn't see you and you can just get away with it. And so I'm going to give an example of no integrity. Before I go into that, I go into this story here about Paul and Silas. At midnight, Paul and Silas began to pray. In the book of I want to say this was in Acts. They began to pray, and as they began to pray, the chains began to break, and the chains began to break off them when they began to be free, and the prisoners began to have their chains break also as they began to pray and sing songs. Well, the soldiers came in. Paul and Silas and everybody else could have just ran out, but no one ran out. It's like Paul and Silas them had this duty. It doesn't explain it, but it's like they had this duty. It's like in their mind, their integrity was saying, we're not going to let nobody leave, because this wasn't about escaping. This was showing the power of the Most High that can break chains. And so the case was this right here. When the soldiers came in, they told them, like, don't be afraid, because like we're all here, because one of them would have killed himself because of the fact that they know if you let a prisoner escape, then that's probably at that time punishable by death. And so that showed integrity. Even though the chains broke, Paul and Silas didn't run out of the prison. Neither did the people that were with them get away, because it's like they was actually watching them, because they know it was the prayer that they done that caused this actual wreckage that was in the prison that caused the chains to break. So that's an example biblically of doing the right thing. Let's go to Acts chapter 5, 1 through 11. This is an example of not doing the right thing and lacking integrity. This story, I think, goes into the characters Ananias and Sapphira. So Acts 5. One second to get with you here. Acts 5. If you got it, you can go with
Acts 5 verses 1.
Okay.
But a certain man named Kanayahu, with superior his woman, sold a possession and kept back part of the price, his woman also being privy to it, and brought a certain part and laid it at the apostles' feet. But Kepha said, Kanayahu, why has Satan filled your heart to lie to the Ruach HaKodesh and to keep back part of the price of the land? While it remained, was it not your own? And after it was sold, was it not your own power? Why have you conceived this thing in your heart? You have not lied unto men, but unto Elohim. And Kanayahu, hearing these words, fell down and gave up his Ruach. Great fear came on all of them that heard these things. And the young men arose, wound him up, and carried him out, and buried him. And it was about the space of 3 hours after, when his woman, not knowing what was done, came in. And Kephas answered unto her, Tell me whether ye sold the land for so much. And she said, Yea, for so much. Then Kephas said unto her, How is it that ye have agreed together to tempt the Ruach Yahuwah? Behold, the feet of them which have buried your men are at the door, and shall carry you out. And she fell down straightway at his feet. And yielded up her Ruach. And the young men came in and found her dead, and carrying her forth, buried her by her men. And great fear came upon all the called out assembly, and upon as many as heard these things.
Okay, so you see here where this is an example of not having integrity. The issue is they figured nobody would know. And that's the reason why they withheld the information of the right price and what they sold the possession for. This was a voluntary act. This was something that you didn't have to do this. So you could have said, I don't want to do it. But they did it. It was almost like it was done for show, like they lied. Like, I mean, why lie? You ever seen these situations where people have to lie? It's like, you don't have to lie. Just keep it real. Like, it's okay. If you didn't want to do it, don't do it. But instead of them not doing it, they didn't want to look bad. And so they said, look, we sold it for so much, but they didn't sell it for so much. They got more money than what they told Peter. And so this was the case right here of showing where there's no integrity. The whole concept of this is, not keeping it real. Integrity even gets into people not keeping their word. Like, I mean, you can lie to yourself. Like, it's just so much stuff you can do. Like you telling somebody something, like we'll get into Matthew, let your yea be yea and your nay be nay. That gets into that too. But the concept is doing the right thing when nobody's watching. And then just like I use this apple, is an example of, like, you see the outside of this apple and then you smell this apple and this apple smells like an apple. And when you bite into this apple, you expect this apple to taste like an apple. But if the apple tastes like an orange or a banana or something, then that means that, you know, the apple lacks its integrity, or being an apple is not the same. It's not the same inside out. That's pretty much the thing. So you have the situation where inside they're like dead man's bone, but outside they're whitewashed robes. And this is this case where a lot of people look good on the outside, fringes. And even in a lesson that I was listening to a couple of days ago, it was talked about people wearing and looking apart about being a Hebrew and stuff. And it was like, one guy mentioned that people had fringes all on their hats and all this kind of stuff, and saying fringes don't even go on no hat. It's just showing how they'll have all that going on, all the bells and whistles, like they'll have this whole attire looking apart, but then they're wicked, like they lack integrity. When you look at this in most places, the average individual lack integrity, even unknowingly, because like they brush it off as something as simple as making a promise to somebody. And even a small thing like picking up the phone and saying, hey, look, I won't be able to keep this promise that I made you. Instead of doing that, pride as an individual, as a human, says, look, don't even worry about it. It's like you nonchalant. You just blow it off and don't even get back with them because you expect that, you know, you don't owe them anything. You don't owe them anything. But you do owe your word. Like if you said it, don't even say it. Like this is the thing. Never get pressured into a corner to agree to something you don't want to agree to. It doesn't matter how the person may take it, whether they think or even if you think you should agree to it. It's best not to if there's a small possibility that you may not even stick to it, or at least you need to have the actual dignity to actually say, look, I won't be able to do this. Maybe some other time. Like people don't even give someone a call, a text, or anything. It's like they'll say something, make these big swelling promises, and then the moment it's time to pay up with the promise, they just go ghost as if they never said it, and they assume that's okay. When you see these telltale signs, this shows that the person lacks integrity, and you have to know that. That means they can't really be trusted, and they can be trusted probably to a degree in the open, but not when things are not around. When no one is looking, they can't be trusted because only people may know that is you and them. They said, look, I'll come by there and help you move. Something simple as that. Come time to move, they're nowhere to be found. They don't call, they don't say anything. It's like they just go missing in action. That's a lack of integrity, because you could pick up the phone and say, look, I know I promised you I will help you move, but I won't be able to do it because of this. Even though it's an excuse, it showed that you did something. You made some type of effort to at least, come to the forefront and face this situation. Like a lot of people won't own up to it. That's a lack of integrity, not owning up to it. Like not owning up to something you done wrong. It's a lack of integrity. Operating in pride breeds a lack of integrity. I mean, this is what it equals, because if you're in pride, you're not going to have integrity, because the pride of the person says, I don't owe him anything, but you do. You made a promise. I mean, it's like, that's why we have to understand when you make these promises, when you say things, you have to do your best to stick to these things. And in just simple things, I mean, I know everybody's not perfect, but a lot of people lack integrity, and the Most High is watching that. So if you're lacking integrity among people, then how is the Most High going to trust you? Like you said, if you be a ruler over those small things, then he'll make you rule over great things. So it's like, you have to understand that he's watching, so he's not going to pick somebody that lacks integrity to actually do great things on his behalf. You can do some things and let your gift make room and stuff, but to actually be ordained by the Most High to handle things seriously, and for him to trust you with secret things and things of that nature, you have to have integrity. Integrity is not going back, being a talebearer and going back and forth, starting telling people something that someone told you in confidentiality. It's a lack of integrity to go tell someone that you know is going to get out to somebody else because you don't want to say it. You'll hint towards it. That's still a lack of integrity. Like it should be sealed lips if it's something that you know that it shouldn't be said, that's going to cause some type of issue or some type of drama, but people run to go do it. It's a lack of integrity. I mean, running back and forth as a talebearer. And just kind of want to share that briefly. Let's go to Deuteronomy 18. We're going to go 9 through 14. Deuteronomy 18, 9 through 14.
Deuteronomy 18, 9 through 14. When you are coming to the land which Yahuwah Eloheka gives you, you shall not learn to do after the abominations of those nations. There shall not be found among you anyone that makes his son or his daughter to pass through the fire, or that uses divination, or one that practices sorcery, or an enchanter or a witch,
or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirits, or a wizard, or a necromancer. For all that do these things are an abomination to Yahuwah. And because of these abominations, Yahuwah Elohekah drives them out from before you. You shall be perfect with Yahuwah Elohekah.
So stopping there, this is a key verse before you go into 14. So we say 14.
For these nations which you shall possess, hearken unto sorcerers and unto diviners. But as for you, Yahuwah Elohekah has not severed you to do so.
So verse 13 says you should be perfect with Yahuwah Elohekah. So this means that this will be tamim. I mean, because you have to actually understand that you have to be perfect before him, no matter how you look at it. You know, he doesn't want you to deal with paganism and stuff. He wants you to reject this stuff and be blameless and be perfect. So it will go under this order of tamim. You know what I'm saying? Walking before the Most High, being perfect means also perfection. When you look at it, it's not making a mistake. It's that, you know, you have to be honest about what you're doing as a whole. Like if you do something and you didn't know it, say that. Like, but you can't deliberately just go and deal with those abominable things. At that point, you're lacking integrity. I mean, at that point, you're going against the grain. And he say he don't want you doing these things that the other nations are doing. So therefore, you'll begin to lack integrity. So that was the example for Tamim, telling Abraham to walk before him and be blameless. The parallel scripture that I have with that would be Matthew 6:24.
Matthew 6:24. No man can serve two Adonim, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve Elohim and Mammon.
And that's the thing. I mean, you can't serve both of them. Like, you have to understand that the thing is, you have to actually know that there's going to be a tug of war. Like, if you set your heart after trying to serve money or mammon, or serve anything outside of the Most High, is going to come to a fork in the road where you're going to have to make a choice. And when you make that choice, you have to understand at this point, it may be a few things that you may have to give up to actually uphold your integrity. And so it's just saying that you can't run blindly after money and then think that you can keep your integrity, because at some point, you're going to fall off. It can be something as simple as, remember the Shabbat and keep it Kodesh. Like, I mean, it could be something as simple as you saying, look, I can't, I won't be able to keep it. You know what I mean? I won't be able to keep the feast days for various reasons that you could have avoided down the line. Like, there should be some attempt. Like, because you have some people just blow it totally out of the way. Like, they're saying, look, I just can't do it. Like, even if you can't go somewhere that's charging you for a feast day to get around other people, then you could still keep the feast days at home. Like, there's no way around it. Like, there's some way that you can memorialize if you're just not in position to do it. But if you're making forth an effort, you're putting forth an effort, I think the Most High will open the door for you to do what you need to do. And so if you put forth an effort to follow the Most High wholeheartedly, then you don't have to follow money wholeheartedly. Like, if you follow him, then you just go under the Matthew verse that says, seek ye first the kingdom of Yahuwah and his righteousness, and all other things, or all these things will be added unto you. So if you're actually seeking him, then it's all going to work out, because the word says, in James, it says, if you draw nigh to Yahuwah, he will draw nigh to you. It says he resists the proud, but he gives grace unto the humble. And that's the thing we have to understand. Like, if you choose him, then he's already chosen you. All you got to do is just grab his hand, because he said, my hand has been stretched out for the longest. He said in one script, translating the script is saying that, or paraphrasing it, all day long have I stretched forth my hand toward a stiff-necked generation. It's like, all you got to do is just reach out. I mean, he's there. And when you reach out by lining up your ways with his ways, and that's pretty much how you would do that. So we're dealing with we had Genesis 17, 1 through 9, Bereshit 17, 1 through 9. You got it.
Genesis 17, 1 through 9. And when Abram was 90 years and 9, Yahuwah appeared to Abram and said unto him, I am El Shaddai, bow before me and be perfect. And I will make my covenant between me and you, and will multiply you exceedingly. And Abram fell on his face, and Elohim talked with him, saying, as for me, behold, my covenant is with you, and you shall be a father of many nations. Neither shall your name any more be called Abram, but your name shall be Abraham. For a father of many nations have I made you. And I will make you exceedingly fruitful, and I will make nations of you, and kings shall come out of you. And I will establish my covenant between me and you and your seed after you, and the generations for an everlasting covenant, to be Elohim unto you and to your seed after you. And I will give unto you and to your seed after you the land wherein you are a stranger, all the land of Canaan, for an everlasting possession, and I will be their Elohim. And Elohim said unto Abraham,
You shall guard my covenant, therefore you and your seed after you in their generations.
And so these are the benefits of walking before him. Once again, Tamim, like you're actually being blameless before the Most High when you actually translate this. And everything that you do from that point starts to work out. Like he begins to rock your seed just because of the fact that you were walking up right before him. You were walking perfect before him. And so at that point, he begins to everything, like your whole straightway, your whole household, your generation begins to be Barak because of the way that you have done things. And this is why he talks about visiting nations, generation upon generation, based upon what they've done wrong, based upon the curses, based upon their bad deeds that they've done. And so this is why you have to understand that, knowing that he would visit the third and fourth generation, with punishment, then how much more will he do these generations down the line that do the right thing? This is why it talks about your seed being blessed. And your seed is blessed based on the way that you operate, based on the way that you act. You remember the acts of Korah? And when we was reading in the Torah portion, when he began to cut up like that, when the earth opened up, well, his family went too. I mean, like that, it's like, so you have to look at, sometimes you can put other people's life in jeopardy with the Most High because of the fact that you're not walking upright. And if you're walking upright, it's the same thing. Like you're actually what I would call Barak by association. Lot didn't know the Most High, but he was Abraham's nephew. Since he was Abraham's nephew, then he wound up being saved, at that point in time from the fire of Sodom and Gomorrah, because Abraham stood in the gap. Like certain scripts would talk about when Moshe said he stood between what? The living and the dead. That's it. So it's like, that's the thing. So you have to understand that when you actually walking upright before the Most High brings this great responsibility. That you have to know that all things that you may think may not pertain to you, sometimes they do, especially when it's those that are right around you. It's like you have this responsibility where it makes you your brother/sister's keeper, per se. And like you have to understand that there's a thing that you have to do that sometimes may not be common or it may be frowned upon when it comes to actually correction, when it comes to rebuking. Like sometimes you have to say things that a person may not like, but in the end, it'll bring forth fruit unto repentance, even if it's made them sorry or offended. But this is one thing you have to know, dealing with this here, like walking upright before the Most High, it actually puts you in position to receive the blessings of the Most High, and it puts your seed in the same position also. Anybody want to stop to take a breath to give anybody a chance to comment if they need to comment on that one? So, Tor, we dealing with Genesis 17. We did that one already, but we're on now.
Genesis 6.
6, so go to 6.
Genesis 6, verse 1. And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born to them, that the sons of Elohim saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them women of all which they chose. And Yahuwah said, My Ruach shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. There were Nephilim in the land, there were Nephilim in the earth in those days, who also gathered afterward when the sons of Elohim came in into the daughters of men, and they bore children unto them. The same became warriors and tyrants, which were from everlasting, mortal men of the name. And Yahuwah saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And Yahuwah repented that he had made men on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. And Yahuwah said, I will destroy men whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, and the creeping thing, and the fowls of the air, for I repent that I have made them. But Noah found grace in the eyes of Yahuwah. These are the generations of Noah. Noah was a just man and perfect in his generations, and Noah walked with Elohim. And Noah began 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. The earth also was corrupt before Elohim, and the earth was filled with violence. And Elohim looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted his ways upon the earth. And Elohim said unto Noah, The end of all flesh is come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them, and behold, I will destroy them with the earth.
Okay, and you look at this once again, Tamim. And so Noah's moral holiness stood out in a corrupt world. And since it did, it put him in a position once again to be saved. And it put his family in position to be saved. And so when you see this concept going on, the Most High keeping his word, knowing that he created mankind, instead of just sticking to the idea of wiping everything away, he cut the time short. He said, look, I'm not gonna let y'all live like Methuselah 900 and some years and all that. I'm gonna cut you way down because y'all done got to a point now where I see it's just not in y'all to do the right thing. It was just total corruption at that time. And we dealing with a time now, it's the same thing. It's just like the days of Noah now. Every time you turn the news on, it's something else that's going on. It's one more thing that's happening that is, I would say, a sad situation where someone is just killing somebody, is murder, is all kind of stuff is happening. But it just shows that we're in these days now. We're in this time frame of what we saw then. And it said it would be just like it was during the days of Noah. And a lot of people are going to be swept away and not even know what happened. So when you're dealing with this right here, it shows once again, this is dealing with Tamim. We're dealing with the idea that Noah was actually walking upright, before the Most High. And he actually did this out of a whole heart. Like he did exactly what the Most High said do. He had total instructions on how to build his ark, who can come in, how many animals can come in. There's 7 of each clean, 2 of each unclean, male and female. It's like everything was broke down, even what was shitting wood. Like it was all the way down to a science, like whatever, how many layers it is. Everything was done perfectly based on the instructions of the Most High. And he looked at, in the eyes of the people, stupid doing it at that time, because you're dealing with a sinful nation. Like, what are you doing all that for? And it's the same thing now. People say stuff like it don't take all that. Not understanding that you're getting yourself lined up and getting in gear to actually do things concerning the Most High, because it's going to be a shift change. And a lot of time when people enter certain shift changes, they can't handle the change that is taking place because they wasn't able to adapt to what has happened. Like one of my famous words, they kind of get lost in the sauce in a sense, like they don't know how to understand that the times are changing. And when you start looking at this, the Most High is like thinking, okay, look, even though they're saying this is stupid what you're doing and it didn't take all that, stay busy, stay vigilant, keep doing what the Most High said do, because eventually those that don't do it are going to be caught up in a position where they're just not able to get in. And like, because when the doors were shut on that ark, it was over. Wasn't no one coming in at that point. Only ones that were coming in is who the Most High instructed to come in at that point. And so this is what we have to understand now. It's going to get to a point in time where it's going to be like, freeze tag. It's like it's over. Like when you're going to be stuck, like he that is filthy, let him be filthy still. He that is just, let him be just still. He that is righteous, let him be righteous still. It's going to get to a point where either you're doing the right thing at that time or the wrong thing. So there's no way to escape this. I mean, because when you look at the book of Revelation, it talks about John the Revelator saying, I saw the dead, small and great, come before judgment to Yahuwah, and say the books were open. And those names that were not found in the Lamb's book of life, they had their part in the lake of fire and brimstone. And this is where the wailing and the gnashing of the teeth has begun. And so we don't want to get to that point. And so just, once again, we're dealing with being upright and understanding that based on that passage we just read, Noah being an upright man, that the Most High noticed that he was walking upright, gave him instructions, and he was actually chosen by the Most High to take on this task of actually building this ark that was going to actually save those that went in from the flood that was going to come. And once again, this flood was coming to wash and to purify all this sinful nature and everything that was on the face of the earth at this time. And so anybody want to chime in, want to give an example or anything? You got a comment? If not, we're moving forward. We're in Proverbs now. So we Proverbs 10 and 9.
Proverbs 10 and 9. He that walks uprightly walks surely, but he who perverts his ways shall be known.
And so Proverbs 10 and 9 would be Tom, because it goes back to integrity as a whole. And integrity brings security. When you walk in integrity, it brings a level of security. And so you have to know that walking in integrity pays off, because it's like a pattern. It's kind of like we talked about Musar, the word we talked about, Musar. It was the idea of knowing that this level of discipline has to be exercised in order to walk upright and have integrity. Like there's no way to have integrity without discipline, because it's discipline that makes you be quiet when it's time to be quiet and don't fly off at the mouth and just get somebody told when it's not their time. Like it's okay to stand up for yourself and not be a punk and things of that nature. But a lot of times we get caught up in the flesh and we just take things to another level. Another lack of integrity is what I want to point out. Something that shows a lack of integrity is that when it's something that you see wrong, like if you're having a debate or you're having some type of disagreement with someone, it seems to get sharp. The lack of integrity that you have, or I would say the person that lacks integrity, the first thing they would do is start assaulting the individual's character, coming against their character about things that don't have anything to do with what's going on at the moment that may or may not have led to the situation that you're arguing about. So you're saying, yeah, I know, but you did this, you did that, and call them names and going to name calling, or it shows childish behavior. When you operate in childish behavior, when you come up out of the guidelines and confinement of the conversation and start trying to hit below the belt, that is actually a lack of integrity, because now you're exposing some things, though they may be true, it shows that you don't have integrity, because it's like those things being true has nothing to do with the situation at hand. Like, I mean, even if you could say, okay, this person did that, and people think that just because they can point something out, or it's for real about an individual, or you done this, you done that, or you didn't do this, that this has something to do with what's being talked about now. And most of the time when they resort to name calling and hitting below the belt, you have struck a nerve in them about what it is, and instead of them just owning up to it and saying, okay, look, you're right, they start hitting you below the belt and start digging up all kind of dirt to actually assassinate your character. That's a lack of integrity, because what you've done was you have actually deflected. You've actually got this information that was told to you up off of you, and you're not no longer taking ownership, and now you're actually trying to say, look, I'm going to put something on you and show you what you've done wrong, instead of saying, okay, look, you're right. Integrity would say, you're right. You could think these things, and I'll dare you, whatever you want to say, because that's the flesh. You're going to say these things, but you have to cast these thoughts out and realize that if you walk in integrity, sometimes silence to a degree will cut people sometimes, because it's like, I always say this right here, like it's like the moment you open your mouth, and if I thought you were foolish or a foolish person, you remove all doubt if I see that the words coming out of your mouth are foolish. At that point, now I don't have to assume whether or not you're foolish or not. I don't have to assume how much information that you have. Like a lot of people feel the need to share it all at one time, like just let a person know how much they got going on and what all they know. And it's like you feel like there's this competition to outdo a person, outshine. Like that actually gets into a lack of integrity also, and sometimes it's operating in the rock of being insecure, because you feel the need to prove something outside of the norm. Like if you just stick to the script, if there is a disagreement, if there's something that you're dealing with that's a topic, stick to the topic. One key thing about even dealing with debating and arguing with somebody, a lot of people don't even understand the concept of constructing the actual argument in a way where it's actually can be received. Like, frame the argument in a way where we can stick to the argument and deal directly with the argument, not go into these nature of name calling and all these different things. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing that it just makes you look bad for the most part. But we have to understand it's a lack of integrity when you deflect and resort to name calling versus just accepting it and taking ownership, or not even saying nothing. It's okay. I mean, if you that's fine. It's best not to say anything rather than going to name calling and trying to tear and assassinate the person's character because they said something that have actually struck a nerve in you. And you don't want to operate like that. You want to make sure that you're able to show the strength, like control your ruach to a point where you can understand and control the narrative in the manner in which it should be controlled in. Like you don't have to go there. Like it's okay to be upset. If someone point out, oh, you mad this and that, that's fine at that point. Yeah, you may be mad. But the thing is, the words say be angry, but sin not. It's not a sin to be angry. The sin comes forth when you start doing things and saying things that are outside of your character. And so that's what we have to understand, just something I want to point out about walking in integrity. So 25, 8 through 21.
Psalms 25 and 8. Good and upright is Yahuwah. Therefore he will teach sinners in the way. The meek he will guide in judgment, and the meek he will teach his way. All the paths of Yahuwah are mercy and truth unto such as keep his covenant and his testimonies. For your name's sake, O Yahuwah, pardon my iniquity, for it is great. What man is he that fears Yahuwah? Him shall he teach in the way that he shall choose. His soul shall dwell at ease, and his seed shall inherit the earth. The secret of Yahuwah is with them that fear him, and he will show them his covenant. My eyes are ever toward El Yahuwah, for he shall pluck my feet out of the net. Turn unto me and have mercy upon me, for I am desolate and afflicted. The troubles of my heart are enlarged. Oh, bring me out of my distresses. Look upon my affliction and my pain, and forgive all my sins. Okay. Consider my enemies, for they are many, and that they hate me with cruel hatred. O guard my soul and deliver me. Let me not be ashamed, for I put my trust in you.
Let integrity and uprightness preserve me, for I wait on you.
Whenever we read the last one.
Redeem Yashrael, O Elohim, out of all his troubles.
So we dealt with Psalm 25. I looked at that. I put Yeshar with that. Good and upright as Yahuwah was the first verse. When it talked about Yahuwah is the standard for being upright. When you look at this, you know what I'm saying? So you know this, that if you're operating under his standard, that you're going to be upright. And it's going to show that, you know, everything is happening based upon, you know, the concept that you actually put Yahuwah first. You actually put him in the forefront of what you're doing as a whole. So it shows that everything behind that begins to fall in place. It almost mirrors once again, seek ye first the kingdom of Yahuwah and his righteousness, and all these things should be added unto you. And you see these ingredients in this verse. I mean, so we dealing with, once again, the idea of walking upright before Yahuwah, which would go back under Yeshar, which is a key verse would be verse 8. Once again, Yahuwah is the standard for being upright. So we can go to 26, 1 through 12 in Psalms.
Psalms 26,
Which
1
pretty
through
much the
12.
whole thing. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Judge me, O Yahuwah, for I have walked in my integrity. I have trusted also in Yahuwah, therefore I shall not slide. Examine me, O Yahuwah, and prove me. Try my mind and my heart. For your loving kindness is before my eyes, and I have walked in your truth. I have not sat with vain persons, neither will I go in with dissemblers. I have hated the assembly of evildoers, and will not sit with the wicked. I will wash my hands in innocence, so I will compass your altar, O Yahuwah, that I may publish with the voice of thanksgiving, and tell of all your wondrous works. Yahuwah, I have loved the habitation of your house, in the place where your honor dwells. Gather not my soul with sinners, nor my life with bloody men, in whose hands is mischief, and their right hand is full of bribes. But as for me, I will walk in my integrity, redeem me and be merciful unto me. My foot stands in the even place, in the assemblies will I bless Yahuwah.
And so you look at verse 1, judge me, O Yahuwah, for I have walked in my integrity. I have trusted also in Yahuwah. Therefore shall I not slide. See what I'm saying? Like he got you just for the very fact that you see that you're doing this. And when you go down even more, it begins to talk even more about verse 11. But as for me, I will walk in my integrity, redeem me, and be merciful unto me. This once again goes under Tom, because this shows the actual idea of integrity itself, the definition that reflects right back to the Hebrew word. And so in this, once again, this isn't just this person is saying the thing that they're going to do, like they're drawing down to Yahuwah, like the book of James say. It's saying that no matter what, I'll wash my hands of anything that's not like you. I'm going to do what you want me to do and not what my actual flesh says do. It's like he's saying, don't gather my soul with the sinners, nor my life with bloody men, in verse 9. So he's letting them know his request. But this is the thing, like the word talks about letting your request be made known. What he said in the scripture, say, call unto me and I will show you great and mighty things that you know not. And so this is what's supposed to happen. Like it's okay. Like he wants you to remind him of his word. This is the thing. I mean, so he hastened to perform his word. Like he wants to perform that he said that was going to come to pass. If he said it, should he not perform it? So he's going to perform it. So this is what we have to look at. Even more, this whole psalm talked about, it actually gives you an actual idea of how to actually have integrity concerning Yahuwah. Any comments? Once again, we'll stop because we locked and loaded. We're just keeping on rolling. No comments. We'll go to 41, 6 through 17.
Wisdom 17 or 41.
Just go. Yeah, I made a mistake on that. We'll start at 41, 6.
Okay.
And we'll stop I'll let you know when to stop.
Psalms 41 and 6. And if he come to see me, he speaks vanity. His heart gathers iniquity to itself. Where he goes abroad, he tells it. All that hate me whisper together against me. Against me do they devise my hurt. In evil disease, they say, cleaves fasten to him. And now that he lies, he shall rise up no more. Yea, my own familiar friend in whom I trusted, which did eat of my bread, has put up his seal against me. But you, O Yahuwah, will be merciful unto me, and raise me up that I may requite them. By this I know that you favor me, because my enemy does not triumph over me. And as for me, you uphold me in my integrity, and set me before your face forever. Blessed be Yahuwah Elohim of Yashrael, from everlasting to everlasting. Amen and amen.
So it must have meant 13, because verse 12 is the key verse. It's saying, as for me, you uphold me in my integrity, and set me before your face forever. And it's the thing. So in your integrity, Most High actually put you in position. I mean, and you have to understand this. Like when you start looking at this, it's like, set me before your face forever. When you see that word face in the context, when you see that word face in the strips, it always shows that the Most High can actually turn his face against you or turn his face towards you. You know what I mean? So it say, I have set my face against you in certain context or certain script. In this case, it's like, it's okay because this is a translation showing that you have set me before your face. So therefore, you're not turning against me. You're setting me with you in the process of everything that's going on. Like you're actually shining upon me. You're actually allowing the things that my heart desire that lines up with your will to actually come into fruition. Like it's actually, there's favor. It say when a man's ways please Yahuwah, he makes even his enemies come at shalom with him. And so this is what we're looking at, here as the concept of this here integrity, once again, dealing with Tom. And so moving forward, get ready to get into the prophets here a little bit. Samuel, I think that'll be 2 Samuel.
Okay.
No, first Samuel 12, 1 through 5. 12, 1 through 5. 1 second. That I need to grab.
Okay.
So we're dealing with the prophets of men. So Samuel, we understand that Samuel was an upright man, and it's a lot that went on with Samuel. For it's like how he walked upright before the Most High and judged Israel.
Okay, go ahead.
So we're going to start out. Samuel is pleading his case. Before you start reading this, Samuel is actually pleading his case about how he had walked in his integrity and how he actually done everything that the Most High said do based upon the concept of this testimony that we're finna read. And so let's look at Samuel's testimony, 1 Samuel 12, 1 through 5.
1 Samuel 12, 1 through 5. And Shemuel said unto all Yashrael, Behold, I have hearkened unto your voice, and all that you said unto me, and I made a king over you. And now behold, the king walks before you, and I am old and gray-headed, and behold, my sons are with you, and I have walked before you from my childhood unto this day. Behold, here I am, witness against you before Yahuwah, and before his anointed. Whose ox have I taken, or whose ass have I taken? Or whom have I defrauded? Whom have I oppressed? Or of whose hand have I received any bribe to blind my eyes therewith, and I will restore it to you? And they said, You have not defrauded us, nor oppressed us, neither have you taken aught out of any man's hand. And he said unto them, Yahuwah is witness against you, and his anointed is witness this day, that ye have not found aught in my hand. And they answered, He is witness.
Mm-hmm. And so when you look at this right here, it just shows even more how Samuel's testimony showed that he walked upright before the Most High. This should fall under Yashar, the way he did this. And when you get to 1 Samuel 3, when you start getting that to about the 19th verse, we ain't turned there, but it just showed that the script just began to say that the child Samuel grew. And it say none of his words hit the ground. That's pretty much the scripture. It say the child Samuel grew. Yahuwah was with him, and none of his words hit the ground. Paraphrasing that. And that's what it was. Like everything that Samuel said came to pass. And it wasn't no thing where he was guessing anything like that. Like he visited him, and he let him know during the time when Eli was saying, the next time you hear the voice, it's not me calling you, say, here I am, or your servant here is translating that. And so when you look at this here, the concept just showed that the Most High was with Samuel from a child on down. Everything was going on. Wickedness was going on. Eli was there. He knew the voice of the Most High. He knew that the Most High was calling Samuel. Eli's sons was wicked. They took bribes. Everything under the sun was happening. Samuel witnessed all of this. But at the same time, he never turned to the right or left. He did just what the Most High said. He said just what the Most High said. Say he didn't add or he didn't take away. And say none of his words hit the ground. That meaning if Samuel said it, it came from the Most High. It didn't come from him. It didn't come from a thought or no impression. Nothing he felt. It was actually instruction directly from the Most High. Because that's the big thing to say none of your words hit the ground. And he walked up right before the Most High. And he witnessed before the people saying, who have I defrauded? And this is a way of walking upright. This is your chart. Like, who have I defrauded? Who have I come against? Have I done anything that seems out of the norm unto you? Have I taken anything from you at all? And the people as witness said you haven't. Like, they had to understand at this point, move forward. When you read the rest of this actual context, it began to say that the Samuel actually had to show them more what the Most High was saying and how they operate as a people. In that same text, when you read that whole thing, the people had to confess, we have sinned. They had to confess we have sinned. Because even at one point, the Most High wanted to be the people's king, but the people wanted a king. That's why they begin to choose Saul. And they begin to look out and they say, look, who is this that will choose to be the king? And this one, Saul didn't even want to be the king. He was hiding in the thicket, hiding in the bushes, but it just shows that the Most High gave them over to what they wanted. He wanted to be their king. But since they didn't want to actually let the Most High be their king, he said, look, we're going to create a bloodline of kings. We're going to start showing you kingship down the line. So now I can't be your king because this is the heart of you. So I'm going to give you over to these earthly kings. And when you deal with these earthly kings, some of them have a lot of flaw because they're operating in the flesh. But the Most High would have operated perfectly before them. But they had to admit that they sinned, even in the act of wanting that king. But the Most High gave them over to what they wanted. Just like even certain script talk about, he'll give you over to a reprobated mind, like that thing that you desire so much that you're actually saying, look, I want this, and you know that the Most High don't want you to have it. He'll eventually just let you have it. And then it started not working out right, because guess what happened? That king didn't work out right. Saul wound up not working out right. He wound up actually doing a lot of things by keeping King Agag alive, when we know in the book of Joshua, when he told Joshua to record this, the Amalekites, at some point we're going to revisit this, they have to go. And so he done that. Like he done a whole bunch of things. He usurped the authority of the priesthood, thinking that Samuel wasn't going to come back. The moment he did the actual priest duty, Samuel walked up saying, what is this that you have done? He said, I didn't know you were going to come. Thought you pretty much forgot in so many words to actually paraphrase this. But it just shows that this earthly king had flaw. This was a part of the sin. When you see this, when it said, we have sinned, later, after they agreed that Samuel did nothing wrong, and he walked upright, which was Yeshua. So what we at now? So I quoted the Samuel, 1 Samuel 3:19. That's the one that said the child grew, and the Most High with him as none of his words hit the ground. And so we're dealing with Job. Once again, another man that walked upright before the Most High. Job 1:1-12.
Job chapter 1, verse 1. There was a man in the land of Uz whose name was Job, and that man was perfect and upright, and one that feared Elohim and eschewed evil.
Okay, and it said he was perfect and upright. And it just showed that him being perfect and upright, he turned against evil no matter what the case was. Job, when you look at this and you translate this whole concept we finna read, translate back into pure integrity. Tom, go ahead.
And there were born unto him 7 sons and 3 daughters. His substance also was 7,000 sheep, and 3,000 camels, and 500 yoke of oxen, and 500 she-asses, and a very great household, so that this man was the greatest of all the men of the east. And the sons went and feasted in their houses, every one his day, and sent and called for their 3 sisters to eat and drink with them. And it was so, when the days of their feasting were gone about, that Job sent and sanctified them, and rose up early in the morning, and offered ascending smoke offerings according to the number of them all. For Job said, it may be that my sons have sinned, and cursed Elohim in their hearts. Thus did Job continually. Now there was a day when the sons of Elohim came to present themselves before Yahuwah, and Satan came among them.
Now look at it. What it says, he's later on you'll see we'll go and ask him where it come from. What it talks about, he goes about, what I'm saying? He's trying to figure out who he can seek and devour. This is this whole thing. He's trying to find someone to blame. This is what you would call the accuser of the brethren. This is actually the ruach of this, knowing that he has a short period of time, trying to take everybody that he can with him. Even when you get to the actual the idea of the lake of fire and brimstone, this character here, it'll show that Hasatan actually will be nothing at some point in time. And they'll look over and say, are you the devil? The one that actually, Hasatan that actually deceived all the nations, like it's nothing to you now, because he don't have the power at that point. All this power is temporary right now. He don't have the power at that point, because when you look at the power, when the power was offered unto him, when he had it, what did Mashiach say? He said, the prince of this world coming, but he finds nothing in me. Like there's nothing in me that actually, that he can actually show or to actually expose that actually belongs to him. This is why at this point in time, he actually said, look, it took him upon a high place. When Hasatan took Mashiach, he said, look, all these things I'll give you if you do an act of worship. He said he wasn't going to do it. He's going to worship the Most High. When you get back to the concept of this whole thing, how was he able to offer that? He was able to offer it because at that time, there was no actual sacrifice that went forth yet for the actual remission of sin. There was no blood shed forth at that time. We were kind of at a crossroad. But now that we're in this actual order of Melchizedek, what did he say when he actually went to the stake? He said, all power has been given over unto me over heaven and earth at this particular time. And so when you start looking at this as the concept of explaining this is the concept right here. We have now a high priest that's actually standing right now in the gap app on our behalf. Like we no longer have to just accept defeat. He said he made an open show of them, an open show of everything that has something to do with the enemy. Say triumphing over them in it. And so those that are actually understanding that they have this actual high priest that's actually going to the Most High on their behalf, they understand that they're not bound by these concepts anymore that you see here reading in this script. This is done to shine a light upon someone that walks in integrity. But at this point in time, there's no total authority. This is what you have to look at. There's no total authority unto them. That's why I say you're in this world, but not of this world. Like in this world, you have to actually understand that if you deal with the things of the world, you're going to get the reward from the world. If you deal with the things of the Most High, you're going to get the reward from the Most High. And unless the Most High build the house won't stand. Go ahead.
Verse 7. And Yahuwah said unto Satan, For whence come you? Then Satan answered Yahuwah and said, From going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. And Yahuwah said unto Satan, Have you considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and upright man, one that fears Elohim and eschews evil? Then Satan answered Yahuwah and said, Does Job fear Elohim for naught? Have you not made a hedge about him and about his house and about all that he has on every side? You have blessed the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in the land. But put forth your hand now and touch all that he has, and he will curse you to your face. And Yahuwah said unto Satan, Behold, all that he has is in your power. Only upon himself put not forth your hand. So Satan went forth in the presence of Yahuwah.
And it just shows this. I mean, when you look at this concept, no matter how you look at it, nothing changes about a perfect and upright man. And that's who he was at that time, a man that walked in integrity. And that's just the concept. I mean, no matter what the case is, as we begin to continue, we'll understand the testimony of Job as we begin to go forth. So let's go to 2:1-10.
Job chapter 2, verse 1. And again, there was a day when the sons of Elohim came to present themselves before Yahuwah, and Satan came also among them to present himself before Yahuwah. And Yahuwah said unto Satan, From whence come you? And Satan answered Yahuwah and said, From going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it.
Pause right here. So this is a whole different time. So it shows that Satan seizes every opportunity to try to get the advantage on you. And this is why it talks about not being ignorant to Hasatan devices unless he get an advantage on us. Like we understand these things, like we have to quench the fiery darts of him because he's coming every day with some new tactic. And no matter what you look at it, how you look at it, he's actually trying to find a way to repackage it and make it look bigger than what it is. Like his job is to blow something up. This thing, what we look at in the script when it talks about it, the small fox that spoiled the vine. And that's the thing. So it's something that's real small and minute that gets in and causes a whole bunch of records. So you don't want to actually be in a position that he's actually put an actual magnifying glass on a small thing and cause you to get all out of whack. And then here comes this trickle effect. It's like the snowball effect. It started small, then all of a sudden now that was small turned big, because this is the thing. It's kind of like how stress grows. Like it starts with a small problem, then next thing you know, there's another problem, then there's another. Now, because you didn't put a cap on the concept of understanding that, you have this stress and this something that's coming against you. The enemy's using these tricks to try to torment you. Then he began to cause these things to be greater. Now a big thing has happened. You've had a stroke. And so you got to come in. Oh, and so now something big is happening. You have the actual stroke because you didn't stop it in the beginning. Like the snowball started off real small, like at the size of a quarter. Now it's so big you can't even stop it. Like it's bigger than a house now because it's rolling. Now you have to take different avenues to actually get this thing, under control, because you didn't get it under control in the beginning when it was actually a time to do it. So now you have to fight harder. And that's how it happens. We don't nip things in the bud. Sometimes, the way you start these situations out, it will affect how the situation will affect you later on down the line. But once again, Satan is seizing his opportunity to try to figure out what he can do again, because whatever he tried the first time wasn't working. So now he has to try to take it a step further. Go ahead.
Verse 3. And Yahuwah said unto Satan, Have you considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the land, a perfect and upright man that fears Elohim and eschews evil? I read that already. Mm-hmm. And he still has his fast integrity, although you remove me against him, to destroy him without cause. And Satan answered Yahuwah and said, Skin for skin, yea, all that a man has he will give for his life. But put forth your hand now and touch his bone and his flesh, and he will curse you to your face. And Yahuwah said unto Satan, Behold, he is in your hand, but save his life.
So went Satan forth from the presence of Yahuwah, and smote Job with sore boils from all the sole of his foot unto his crown. They took him a potsherd to scrape himself withal, and he sat down among the ashes. Then said his woman unto him, Do you still retain your integrity? Bless Elohim and die. But he said unto her, You speak as one of the foolish women speaks. What shall we receive good at the hand of Elohim, and shall we not receive evil? In all did this, did Job not sin with his lips.
It just shows he never sinned with his lips. He had this pressure going. You know, the enemy tried to use his wife to try to actually get to him and get him to actually curse him. And when you start looking at this concept, even the more, when you look at this as a whole, it shows even the more how that this was actually who Job was serving. For some odd reason, Job seemed like at this particular point in time, the only one in the family that's serving the Most High. And so since he couldn't get him the first time, by taking stuff, he said, look, now skin for skin, like I'm going to actually touch his body and see does this get him to turn against you. And this is what happens a lot of times. People will actually turn against the Most High. Once again, this is Tom once again. And people actually turn against the Most High because something has happened to them physically and get to a point where they're blaming the Most High. A lot of times you have to understand, like, there was nothing that this guy done to deserve this. But at the time, he also the way that he set up and the way that this concept and the story is being told to us, there's no actual direct scenario that he can deal with something through the actual lens or the help of an actual high priest either at this point in time. Like he's actually rocking with this alone at this point in time. But in our situation, you have to look at the concept like, where does he get permission from now? Because he didn't pay a price. Like the price has been paid now. Not to give you an excuse to sin or to go do something, but there is a price that's been paid that the accuser of the brethren can't just do things at his will no matter what, to certain degrees. Like he had to get permission then. So just how much more you think he has to get permission now? Most of the time we get put in these positions because of what we have done. It's that we have lacked integrity in some way, some form or some fashion. It's something that we've done. Like if you really look back on a lot of things that happened, something caused this situation. Even if it was done through a systematic position or something that had to do with this matrix we're in, there's something, even if it's the environment that caused the individual to act the way they act, to do these things. Like when you actually take on certain ruachs and take on certain personalities and you carry yourself a certain way, eventually you're going to run into a brick wall. Like you can only bark for so long and buck against the go against the grain for so long. Eventually you're going to meet your match. And this is what we have in our day and time. Most of the time people are falling at the hand of bad decisions most of the time. Like for the most part, when you look at it, if you really be honest with yourself and say, when you were with the Most High at your highest point, at the peak of your time being with the Most High, he's with you. And there is shalom. Most of the time when there's no shalom is that you venture off and you step away from the Most High. This is actually the backslider, sometimes not even knowing that they're backsliding, because people they've been actually led now by other people astray to actually take on this personality that it don't take much. It's like they're getting away from the idea of being set apart and the standard that the Most High has. If you operate in a certain standard, most of the time it'll speak volumes. People see things. They see when you dress modest. They see when you carry yourself a certain way. They see certain things that you will play and you don't play, a certain thing that you will go for rather and that you won't go for. They understand that certain levels you just won't go to, and they know this. And even though they may not admit it, they admire you for that. But the pride in them sometimes can't say it. They can't just say, okay, look, this or that, but just people are watching. Like your lifestyle is a book to people. And that book can show integrity or a lack of integrity. The moment someone tries to tempt you through the idea of hospitality, even if they don't realize they're being used by him, and you reject this advance no matter what it is. And at that moment in time, it brings about a conviction in them. They're not going to say it, but it actually makes them feel some type of way. And at some point, they're going to back off when they see you're for real. They're not going to back off if they understand you're going back and forth and you wish-wash. But if you're standing on business, they're not going to feel calm, because most of the time you have to look at this: misery loves company. And it's what it is. I mean, birds of a feather flock together. If you have 10 people you're hanging around, and you're going to be the 11th person as number 11, more than likely, just through research and through just being in life, you understand what's going to happen. Because most of the time, people are getting turned by other people and they're going into the different directions. It's mostly not the time where you're standing. Most of these people that get off into this Mother Earth and all this kind of stuff, they take Grand Rising to a whole nother level to now it's not even about the Most High. You're using Creator and the universe and all this stuff to just not say the Most High because you no longer really believe in your heart. This starts through you watching somebody else that's showing you stuff through certain doubts and stuff. This is why you have to understand when you're dealing with things, you can't even handle some stuff when it comes to certain videos you may see, certain statements, and you feeling at a low state or your energy is down and you don't have your ruachs are down and are not up. At this point, here comes the enemy with this person saying, oh, this stuff, man, oh, this stuff ain't real. Bob ain't real. Look, all you got to do is just connect with the universe. And here it is. And now you off into something totally different. And you're not you're not no longer following the dietary law. You're not keeping the feast day. You made an excuse to feel comfortable within yourself because they give you all these different things to accommodate you, saying, well, take this, take a spiritual bath or get some counsel, do this. And you're doing all this stuff, run around instead of just saying, look, there's something wrong. Go to Yahuwah. Set your face before Yahuwah and say, look, this is what I need help with. People don't want to do that because it's easier to accept this thing that someone is offering them, which is actually a counterfeit version of something that you would say that's actually in the Ruach. It's another Ruach. It's not of the Most High. That's why he said, though I or angel from heaven preach any of the gospel, let them be accursed. They're preaching another gospel to you because they mix the word up with it most of the time. Most of these people don't just throw the Bible away altogether. They make an excuse to not stick to what it say, and then they incorporate something else that you can feel comfortable with. And then now you're venturing off into something totally different. And you, next thing you know, you're in full-blown witchcraft because you didn't know that they were just constantly coming. Just like he told Peter, he said, Yahushua said, look, Satan desires to sift you like wheat. He said, but I prayed for you that your faith fail you not. And so this is why you have to understand, he just do a little bit at a time. He's not going to just come all at once. He's going to do a little bit at a time. A little leaven will eventually leaven the whole lump. Eventually, you're going to wind up being spoiled at some point. And so we left off on Job. We did that whole thing of Job. Okay, so that was once again dealing with Tom. So we're gonna get now into James. That's going to talk about briefly. You can just read it. It's going to highlight the actually integrity of Job, how he endured. James 5:11.
James 5:11. Behold, we count them happy which endure. Ye have heard of the patience of Job, and have seen the result of Yahuwah in the life of Job, that Yahuwah is very pitiful and of tender mercy.
He restored everything. It may not have been what he wanted exactly, but he restored. A full restoration was done. Like this, there's too much to read all these books. But if you understand anything about Job, if not, read that whole thing and understand what happened at the end of this situation. Better was the end of his matter than the beginning. You know, because at the beginning it looked like this or that, but the Most High wound up, because most of the time you start looking at what's happening or going on, you can't ignore the fact that you can only stand in the gap for so long. Like everybody can't be saved. So we can't say the Most High did this or the Most High did that. Remember, when you look at the script, Job was making burnt offerings and doing all kind of stuff. He said he knew his people was wicked. So when these people are getting killed, there's not nobody's walking up right before the Most High. It got to a point where Job's prayers couldn't help him no longer because they kept turning in the other direction. At some point, it gets to a point where you can't be saved by another individual. You can only go so long. This is why you can't cast your prayer before swine.
That's right.
You can only go so long with a person. And at some point, he said he does what? Hear not a sinner's prayer. So the grace leaves at that point. And so that's why you have to understand that these things have to be told because of Christianity. People's mind have been poisoned and they're thinking that go to the end, no matter what, I'm standing in the gap. You're wasting time. Because at some point in time, unless the soul be converted to understand who brings true salvation, then you're not going to know what's going on. This is why he talks about it in Isaiah when he said, I alone give salvation. He wasn't saying that Yahushua wasn't going to be here, but what he was saying is there's no other Elohim besides me. And I'm going to create somebody for you that actually can take the place of Aaron in that priesthood because it kept dying out. I'm going to put you in an order, a new renewed covenant, which is under the order of Melchizedek, that you can actually have a shepherd and bishop over your soul in these times of need, but they're not me. That's the thing, and that's just the bottom line. But when you look at Christianity, it makes the Most High Mashiach, and then it puts you in this mindset that no matter what goes on, you're going to be forgiven. It doesn't work that way. The word talks about he that endures to the end shall be saved. There's no once saved, always saved. This thing shows no actual action. When you actually study Hebrew, you see how ludicrous this is. I mean, it's just like the actual definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. They're not going to be any. Like, you have to perform. And in this performance, to a degree, the Most High begins to barak your efforts. Like, there's nothing where you can just kick back and then it's all going to work out. It don't work like that. Like, with that concept, a lot of people are going to fall because of the fact that they're thinking that just because they have a way to the actually most holy of holies, actually through the grace of Mashiach, getting their prayers answered, they think that they can use this as a reason to do whatever, and then it's going to be covered. It doesn't work like that. He doesn't just cover a multitude of faults and things that you do as a whole. He covers a multitude of sin with love, and these things that you have done knowingly and unknowingly. But once you get to a point where you're actually understanding that this is that, then the sinner is say, let him sin no more. And so that's the concept of that. Talking about how Job endured, getting into the wailing women, the women teaching the daughters how to be wailing women. Like, these things are things that you see, like how when the scripts talked about crying out, when they say this poor man cried out, and out of all his troubles, Yahuwah heard him and he saved him. And so these wailing women are the ones that are actually wailing, and they're actually crying out unto the Most High, and they're actually just pouring out their ruach, and there's no way to explain it. It's like a groaning and an uttering that can't be explained. It's just what it is when you look up the concept of what all embodies this word. And so Jeremiah 9:1-24 is going to get into the wailing women. Give me about 4 or 5 seconds and kick it off. So yeah, you can just kick it off because I kind of got the concept of
Jeremiah 9, verse 1. Oh, that my head were waters, and my eyes a fountain of tears, that I may weep day and night for the slain of the daughter of my people. Oh, that I had in the wilderness a lodging place of wayfaring men, that I may leave my people and go from them. For they shall all break wedlock, an assembly of treacherous men. And they bend their tongues like their bow for lies, but they are not valiant for the truth upon the earth. For they proceed from evil to evil, and they know not me, says Yahuwah. Take ye heed every one of his neighbor, and trust ye not in any brother, for every brother will utterly supplant, and every neighbor will walk with slanders. And they will deceive every one his neighbor, and will not speak truth. They have taught their tongue to speak lies, and weary themselves to commit iniquity. Your habitation is in the midst of deceit. Through deceit they refuse to know me, says Yahuwah. Therefore, thus says Yahuwah Sabaoth, behold, I will melt them and try them, for how shall I do for the daughter of my people? Their tongue is an arrow shot out, it speaks deceit. One speaks peaceably to his neighbor with his mouth, but in his heart lays his weight. Shall I not visit them for these things, says Yahuwah? Shall not my soul be avenged on such a nation as this? For the mountains will I take up a weeping and wailing, and for the habitations of the wilderness a lamentation, because they are burned up, so that none can pass through them, neither can men hear the voice of the cattle. Both the fowl of the heavens and the beasts are fled, they are gone. And I will make Jerusalem heaps and a den of dragons, and I will make the cities of Yehuda desolate without an inhabitant. Who is the wise man that may understand this? And who is he to whom the mouth of Yahuwah has spoken, that he may declare it? For what the land perishes and is burned up like a wilderness that none passes through. And Yahuwah says, because they have forsaken my Torah which I set before them, and have not obeyed my voice, neither walked therein, but have walked after the imagination of their own heart, and after Balaam which their fathers taught them. Therefore, thus says Yahuwah Sabaoth, the Elohim of Yasharahal, behold, I will feed them, even this people, with wormwood, and give them water to gall to drink. I will scatter them also among the heathen, whom neither they nor their fathers have known, and I will send a sword after them, till I have consumed them. Thus says Yahuwah Sabaoth, consider ye, and call for the mourning women, that they may come, and send for cunning women, that they may come. And let them make haste, and take up a wailing for us, that our eyes may run down with tears, and our eyelids gush out with waters. For a voice of wailing is heard out of Zion. How are we spoiled? We are greatly confounded, because we have forsaken the land, because our dwellings have cast us out. Yet hear the word of Yahuwah, all ye women, and let your ear receive the word of his mouth, and teach your daughters wailing, and everyone her neighbor lamentation. For death is come up into our windows, and is entered into our palaces, to cut off the children from without, and the young men from the streets. Speak Thus says Yahuwah, even the carcasses of men shall fall as dung upon the open field, and as the handful after the harvestmen, and none shall gather them. Thus says Yahuwah, let not the wise man glory in his wisdom, neither let the mighty man glory in his might. Let not the rich man glory in his riches. But let him that glories glory in this, and he that understands and knows me, I am Yahuwah, which exercise loving kindness, judgment, and righteousness in the earth, for these things I delight, says Yahuwah.
And when you look at that, it just shows even more how this is challenging them to remain guilt-free and clean from a heart standpoint, just actually doing the right thing, and is actually setting the stage up to actually show that someone now is being set up in a position to intercede. When you start looking at these wailing women, you start looking at the cunning women. When it talks about that, like you have people that can do certain things, then you got people that are cunning. You got somebody that actually is a expert in this thing, like they can actually do this thing almost without thinking about it. You know what I'm saying? This just shows the difference from a pro versus someone that is not. I mean, so you have to understand that the way this is going as a whole, it shows that there's an order that goes forth where the Most High actually respects this level of humility. I mean, he respects this to the degree of saying he's showing you how to actually set the stage so that certain things can take place in the atmosphere. And these things take place based upon certain concepts. Like when you look at certain ways to explain this, when you hear certain things like where there's 2 or 3 gathered together, my name, there am I in the midst, like these type of concepts. When you understand that one would chase 1,000, but 2 can put 10,000 to flight. Like understand this power and this type of unity coupled with this type of work when it comes to a point where you're cunning and welling, where you can actually get forth a breakthrough. You can actually begin to break through the certain and pierce certain levels of the Shamayim and actually begin to pierce through and get certain sweet smelling savors unto the Most High. He began to receive these tears and these actual cries that you begin to hear, and he began to do something. It always moved the Most High. Wailing women. The example is when it said this poor man cried and the Most High heard him out of all his troubles. He saved him. When you look at Exodus during that time, when you see that Pharaoh and them had got to turn against everybody, like it was to the point where he said, look, throw them all in the river. Those male child, I want you to throw them in the river. And look, this is what's going to happen. You're going to do the same work and you're going to go gather your own straw and perform the same task. Like it was rigorous. It was like the work had begun to be just harsh that Pharaoh was putting on them, and say they began to cry out unto Yahuwah, and Yahuwah heard them. This is when Moshe began to be raised, and he made this decision that, look, rather than have these actual things in the palace of Pharaoh and these things that Mizraim is offering, what I'm going to do is choose to be there for my people. So he chose a side. Even though the Most High called him, he made the decision in his mind that he was going to do the right thing. This is why you see the representative of the Most High speaking to Moshe through this burning bush, but at the same time, the ground that he was on was Kodesh because of the actual atmosphere at that point in time. So when the Most High comes, he began to change the atmosphere based upon what has happened. When you begin to crowd, he began to put things in order. The problem with a lot of the so-called black movements and stuff, they left the Most High out. But when you do something when the Most High is there, like what it said, or when the lawyer stepped up and they were saying like 400 men gathered themselves and they was doing something, they came to nothing when they was calling on Yahuwah. She said, look, if these men be of Yahuwah, then happily you're going to be found to fight against Yahuwah. He said, you will not overthrow it. That's the thing. So this is the thing, like if the Most High be for you, then who can be against you? It says he's more for you than the whole world is against you. This is why this concept is going forth now when you see this level, why I put it with Naki, because it actually shows that now you have this situation where they're actually pure from their heart, like they're crying out, like the whole thing is to actually bring forth a breakthrough based on what's going on. These are the actual, I would say the actual Torah versions or the actual, the idea of the prophetic version, when you start getting into this of the actual crying out, that you see these things happen to go forth, where the Most High is going to actually show forth an avenue for you because of the fact that you begin to cry out unto him. He began to answer these things because he knows that it's a pure thing. Like it takes from an individual to cry out to an invisible Elohim, somebody they haven't even seen. They don't even know he's there, no more than through just what they've experienced in life, and they're doing this as a whole. He knows it takes takes a level of faith. It takes a level of emunah, because you believe this with your mind. You believe that he is real, but you also obey. That's why the scriptures say you believe that Yahuwah is one. The devils believe also and tremble, but they don't obey. That's the thing. Like, they know who he is, but see, the thing with you is where your emunah kicks in beyond the belief, you also obey, and through the actual welling shows this emunah, shows that what they believe been put into action, and the Most High will answer the prayer. That's why I said, teach the daughters how to well and how to actually go forth before the Most High. Teach them how to intercede in this manner. This is an actual act of intercession at this particular point in time, asking the Most High to move based upon the action that they're putting forth when they well it. And so that will go on in that key. So that's actually dealing with the welling women. That's an actual good nugget to have, because cry out loud and spare not. Lift up your voice like a trumpet. In the Psalms, it even goes more and more telling you that. So now we'll move into the Brit Hadashah, which is the New Testament as a whole. Matthew 5 and 37.
Matthew 5 and 37. But let your communication be yea, yea, nay, nay, or whatsoever is more than these comes of evil.
Yeah, so it said just let it be what you're going to do. And it goes to another verse. Just keep it pure. Just keep it clean. Don't even try to get it, tainted with all these other things that you're trying to add. And, you find these particular words to place with them. And I put that key again based upon this concept of what this does. It means that you're pure, that you have a clean heart. You're not trying to make nothing up, you're not trying to conjure anything together. It's like, look, I can't do it. Yes, I will do it. Like, you ain't got to add a bunch of extra stuff, because when you do that, you start stumbling upon your words. You start saying things that you're not going to actually do. You know what I'm saying? You're just a whole bunch of swelling words. Like, it's best to be a few words and be a great understanding, because most of the time people say things that they don't understand. They don't say things they understand. They regurgitate information. That's why I try to make sure when I'm looking at things, like the word say, prove all things, I like to make sure that I have these things that in place. Like, things the Ruach will bring things back to your remembrance sometime when you're doing too much. Like, 'cause if you're doing too much, you're making these promises and saying all this stuff. At this point, somewhere along the line, you're going to do something crooked, and it's not going to be pure. It's best to just keep it real, keep it short and sweet at times, especially with an individual that you don't have a certain relationship with, that you can actually casually talk like that with. Like, a lot of people run their mouth to people, and people are listening to every word. Like, they don't even know that, you may be playing or joking. Like, you have to make sure that you clarify that if that's the case, because a lot of times people, they're looking to see, is there any fault in you? The average individual's mindset is always something negative anyway. Most of the time, they're not looking to find something to applaud you on. They're looking to see whether or not this is for real or not. It's usually from a standpoint of doubt most of the time. Like, they're already doubting you, so there's no reason to give them more to doubt. Just keep it short and sweet. Even if they want more, don't give it if you don't have it. Keep it right there. At least they'll respect you for that. Let your yea be yea and your nay be nay. That's just another level of how to have integrity. So that's another level of integrity, not having to prove something to somebody by feeling like you got to give a whole thesis on something that's not even, important at that time. Just keep it short and sweet. And if they don't agree, that's fine. But at least you haven't put yourself in a position to, lack integrity at that point. And so we're narrowing it down. Now, Keith, so let's look at Titus 2. 1 through 8.
Titus 2, verse 1. But speak the things which become sound doctrine, that the aged men be sober, grave, temperate, sound in faith, in love and patience. The aged women likewise, that they be in behavior as is becoming holiness, not false accusers, not given to much wine, teachers of good things. That they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their men, to love their children, to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient to their own men, that the word of Elohim be not blasphemed. Young men likewise exhort to be sober-minded, and all things showing yourself a pattern of good works, and doctrine showing uncorruptness, gravity, sincerity. Sound speech that cannot be condemned, that he that is of the contrary part may be ashamed, having no evil thing to say of you.
And this is where the word gravity comes in at, because it shows that even when it talked about the bishops and it talked about the actual deacons, it said having your house under control or ruling your house with all gravity. Gravity means that there's a balance there and things are not totally in chaos and out of order. Like you can't be going one way doing things for the Most High and then everything you got is in chaos. When you see someone and their life is in shambles and they're preaching the word of the Most High, one key thing, what we would always ignore, we talked about this a lot, was the idea of gluttonous. Like a lot of people ignore this stuff. It's like there got to be something being ignored on a great level or on a grand scale if it's to the point where it's been years and you've been preaching, and you haven't took not one step, and you're 400-500 pounds. You haven't took not one step to slow down stuff and everything. At this point, you're serving, the God of food. We call it belly God because it's to this point where you haven't taken any step. And at no point did he say, look, this is not how I want you to represent me. At some point, something came along the way. He sent somebody, you felt something, you had a dream of something that said you can't be 300 or 400 pounds. Like it has to be something. This isn't a knock against nobody. This is a knock against those that represent the Most High. They're saying that we are the least. See, certain things the people done, the priest couldn't do. Like the priest can't just go to any funeral. They can only go to funerals of the closest kinsman or something of that nature, paraphrasing. They can just roll out anywhere and just show up at the funeral because cousin Bud has died. Like it don't work like that with the Most High. He said, no, you represent me. You will not defile yourself with that. It don't matter what they got to say or what they're saying. No, it won't happen. You have to talk to them at another time, at whatever kind of thing they have later on, what they call the repast, whatever you call it, something later, you can go there. But you can't go to this funeral. And this is why you have to look at this. But back to this thing, like these things are most of the time ignored. Like that's a level of gravity. Like you have to control yourself. I mean, like that's another level of lacking integrity when you're saying you're representing the Most High, and you mean to tell me you turned the deaf ear to this for 5 or 6 years? Like, who are you representing? This is the thing, because he don't represent being unclean, being unhealthy, and being a glutton. He don't represent a sloth. Like the Most High just don't do it. These are things they have to have a personal conviction. Like these things, you have to understand that when the Most High really begins to take you to another level, he's going to check some things that you've been ignoring. And so the only way you can actually know that he's called you is the fact that now you begin to be uncomfortable. Now you're doing something that you feel like you should have been done a long time ago because you almost pretty much got to, because you've been pushed in a corner. You're forced in a corner to have to do it now. So that's the thing. Like you have to get it under wraps. Like you can't just roll on the same way and ignore it. Because what happens when the time comes when someone says, hey, look, can you talk to me about this? Goes for a whole bunch of stuff. Like even finance is going to come into play at some point. But it's like when someone said, hey, look, I've been trying to, lose some weight, a bishop, a pastor, whatever. Can you help me? He's 500 pounds. You know what I mean? Like, this is just the concept of how it was shown to me. You know what I mean? Like that, where he's 500-600 pounds, how he gonna help you? He'll tell you something, but he's not, there's no immunity with it. No, people respect integrity. People respect results. That's how this works. Like when you're dealing with people, it's like they need to see something. They don't see the Most High. You said you serve the Most High. So since you're the representative, we need to see what is that he's telling you to do. He's saying stay 400, 500 or 600, or is he saying drop down something? But that gets ignored because of the flesh. And that's the thing. So we have to understand that's a lack of gravity, which also will lack integrity. And so just something I just wanted to point out, So where are we now? 2 Timothy 4, 1-8. So
2 Timothy 4, verse 1. I charge you therefore before Elohim and the Adonai Yahuwah Hamashiach, who shall judge the quick and the dead at his appearing in his kingdom. Preach the word, be ready in season, out of season, reprove, rebuke, exhort with all long suffering and doctrine.
Okay, so right here, you see this right here. There's no certain time frame. This is why I said be ready in season and out of season. Like, there's no time to get ready. Like what I'm saying is people in general, whether they admit it or not, for the most part are creatures of habit. And so if you're a creature of habit, then you have to develop habits from the Most High. You have to develop habits from the Most High. If you keep doing the same thing, you're going to get the same results. That's just how that works. What goes up must come down, the basic law of gravity. But if you look at this concept right here, you don't have time to go try to study. This is why there are qualifications for a bishop and there are qualifications for a deacon. It says that the bishop must be apt to teach. That means he must be ready to teach. He must be able to teach and dissect and break down the word. And if he can't do that, he can't be a bishop, because it says if any man desire the office of bishop, these are the instructions. But you got people taking on the office and they don't have these concepts. Like there's no gravity. Like once again, the one concept I give that is so offensive to most of them anyway is the weight. Like, well, that's no sense of being offensive because it came to me. I mean, he said if you have this word, you must be a first what? A partaker of the word. And so I'm getting myself in shape and in position as we speak. So it's like there's no way to shake it. Like, there's no way to say, look, I don't understand what's going on, because you do understand. I can say it shamelessly because I know I heard the instructions and I know what I got to do. Like, there's no way around. It don't matter what I want to do or what I feel like. Feeling is all mental. Action is what's going to speak louder than words, because every time I resist or I keep on resisting, the Most High gives more willpower. And that's how that works. It's like you have to say no. And you have to say yes to that puts you in a pattern where you can be a creature of the habit of the things of the Most High, and it begins to develop that pattern. So you can't get ready. There's no time for it being. You can't say it's out of season. If so, you got to step away from what you're doing. You can't. There's no preaching and saying, "Oh, this ain't the right time." Oh, know that. Like, now, once you take this actual mantle from the Most High to do certain things, there has to be a way that you can find it out. Like, you can't just be dumbfounded and you can't just be lost all the way. Like, it doesn't work that way. So there's certain things that the Most High bring forth to you that'll make you feel uncomfortable, because he needs to get you in position to represent. And you can't represent half-heartedly, half-cocked. You can't be representing in one area, then another area you're not representing. Like, he's going to make the whole person perfect. And what I mean by that, I'm saying he's going to actually put you in position where there's not going to be a situation where you're brought in someone's mind up as questionable. You know what I mean? To the point where it's like, man, are they really with the Most High? Now, it shouldn't be that way. It needs to be, they see what now we see that the Baraka of the Most High, like everything is happening, like he's beginning to follow them. And you need to see the favor of the Most High on the individual's life. And if you don't see that, then that means something is wrong. Something is out of alignment, that they need to get in alignment, and that they're running and ducking something. And so since they're running and ducking it, the Most High won't line it up, and you can't see the fruit of the labor, because the fact that they're not doing something that they're supposed to be doing, something is not being pruned. Go ahead.
2 Timothy 4, verse 3. For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lusts shall they heap to themselves teachers having itching ears. And they shall turn away their ears from the truth, and shall be turned into fables. But watch in all things, endure afflictions, do the work of an evangelist, make full proof of your ministry. For I am now ready to be offered, and the time of my departure is at hand. I have fought a good fight, I have finished my course, I have guarded the faith. Henceforth there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness, which Yahushua, the righteous judge, shall give me at the day, and not to me only, but unto all them also that love his appearing. Okay,
so verse 8 was highlighted here. Going back to this, now, kid, again, you see this based on everything that he's done. He's walked upright, like he's actually guarded the belief through Emunah. It said, henceforth is laid up for him a crown of righteousness. Like, this is the reward. This is why when you start looking at even certain script that he started getting into, when he started saying, you know, I fought the good fight of faith. We talk about this when he actually gets into concept, and he says, so fight I not as one that beat the air. So in so many words, when he land punches, they're landing in certain areas that's going to cause an issue with the enemy. Like, I mean, that's a problem. Like, the enemy needs to think twice before he approach you. It shouldn't be something so easy for him to come grab, like taking candy from a baby. I mean, I hate to use that concept, but that's just how simple it is sometimes, how the enemy can trick us out of our position. It needs to be a position where you need to be in a position where the enemy says it's a waste of time tempting him with that because it's not working. Where he go on to somebody different. And this is the thing, the more that you begin to show that this is causing the issue with you, the more the enemy keeps trying the same thing over and over again, like a broken record. Like, you just have to understand that at some point, once once you get a grip on it, like you get into a position where now you're in a position where you're interceding, like you're actually approaching the Most High based upon the idea that you're not ducking, like you don't feel ashamed, like you feel like this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and I understand that he's with me. And you can't feel that way if there are skeletons in the closet and certain things are going on that you shouldn't be doing. Is you're exposed at that point. So now the enemy will have a field day with you because of the fact that you have no covering. This is what he told Job. He said, there's a hedge around him and I can't get to him. Remove the hedge so I can get him. And this is the catch, like the hedge stays there as long as you actually stay within the confinements of what we call the spiritual ark. For the most part, that you stay in, that the Most High has prepared for you. You stay in these guidelines. These guidelines are pretty much Torah, walking these commandments. You're keeping the feast days to the best of your ability. You're keeping the Shabbat. You're actually doing everything he say do, the dietary law. You're actually making sure you're not deliberately causing issues, not difficult to deal with. You're not being contrary as a whole. Like for the most part, if you just do a few things, then it keeps the enemy from off you because of the fact that he sees that you're not this type of individual that has a mindset to just fall at the drop of a dime. Like integrity has to be built up through habit. And so it's pretty much that. I want to get into that to actually show the concept of what it takes to actually do the things of the Most High. Like you can't be a foul weather type individual. Like it can't only be because you feel a certain way. Like you're going to not feel a certain way and you still got to do something. Like at no point should you be so pissed off or so upset and angry that you don't call out into the Most High because you feel like this is so overwhelming that he can't help you. Like, and then later on down the line, you go back to him when you're feeling better. Like that's schizophrenic activity. Like that's not the way the Most High wants you to operate. He wants you to know that even though you're upset, he's not. Like he's still there to help you. It doesn't matter what has happened. What matters is, do you still know that he can do it? And so, where we at now? We're in Philippians 4:8.
Philippians 4:8. Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, if there be any praise, think on these things.
Think on these things. That's right. Think on these things. So dealing with whatsoever things are pure. Once again, now key like that. So you're saying whatsoever things are pure. So knowing this, finally, brethren, this is the end. Like, think on these things. Like, understanding this will get you through a whole lot. Whatsoever things are honest. Once again, walking in integrity. You know what I'm saying? It just shows so much as a whole. Like, all of it is in that when you look at it as a whole. But for the most part, you have to understand that when it says, finally, brother, it's saying, hey, look, this is the conclusion of the matter right here. This is everything you need to know. If you do this will help you go another couple of miles longer until the point you just keep on going. You just keep building your strength up even more. Our conclusion scripture, which is one of my favorite scriptures, favorite passages in the scripture, rather, Romans 12, 1, 2, and 3.
Romans 12, verses 1 through 3. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of Elohim, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto Elohim, which is your reasonable service. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transferred by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of Elohim. For I say, through the grace given unto me, to every man that is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think, but to think soberly, according as Elohim has dealt to every man the measure of faith.
Measure even not to work out. And so when you look at this as a whole, this shows you right here. If you do this here, this is what he's saying. Look, I'm pleading with you. I mean, brother, I need you to understand this. I'm pleading with you by the mercies of Yahuwah. Present your body a living sacrifice. This is Kodesh and accept unto Yahuwah. If you present your body, it'll show this is your reasonable service. Like this is your reasonable service. This actually ends the whole thing of integrity. This is the conclusion. Like when you look at this, when you present your body a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable, Kodesh and accept unto Yahuwah, that will be your reasonable service at that time. And at that particular time, it's saying that your mind can't be to the point where you're getting into parallel, to the point where you with this actual system as a whole. the world as a whole. You got to understand that you're in this world, but not of this world. Like, you can't take on the mind of the world and the mind of Yahuwah at the same time. You got to understand that you have to make place and make space for things that are here in the word that you have to adapt to, but it don't mean that you have to be committed to these things. Like, you being committed to the things of the world shows that you're not going to be committed to the things of Yahuwah. Like, we understand people have to work, you have to do certain things, but there are certain things that people have in their mind frame that are not of Yahuwah, that are of the world. The world, you have to be renewed by the transforming of your mind. Like, you have to actually unlearn and relearn. Like we always say, that you can't think. This is where we separate from Christianity. Like, we don't adapt to these things. We're not finna let nobody stick nothing in our veins and all this kind of stuff and tell us what we're gonna do and what we're not do. We're gonna actually exercise our rights as being here as a whole, and to exercise these things, that's freedom of choice. And that's the thing. So understanding that, that's frowned upon by the world, because most of the time what you see going on is that you'll see in Christianity, there'll be a bathroom that's going to say whatever. Like, they're scared to actually show these differences in genders now, because of the fact that they don't want anything to happen to them, or to say, hey, look, you're going to cut off my 501c3 check that's coming to me, or whatever the case may be, or my tax break. So they actually don't preach on certain things. They don't say certain things. They have this certain Bible. You can go to court with this Bible. They say, put your hand on it, being sued because you won't put John on a dress holding Rick's hand, and both of them have dresses on, and marry them, or whatever the case may be. You're being sued for being homophobic. But in that same Bible, it says, such as an abomination to the Most High. If a man having that thing pertaining to a woman, you taking on the ruach of a woman. Not saying that, a woman can't wear pants or anything of that nature, but her reason for putting pants on and dressing up is to be set up to be a role of a man and to take on the ruach of a man. Then at that point, it's an abomination to the Most High. It has to be the understanding that you're still the gender that you are, and he's still the gender that he is. But these things are an issue when you are a hireling. The hireling doesn't care about the people. For the hireling cares about what's going to get them to the next level. They care about, different things like lobbying and getting certain things passed. Stretch their back, you stretch yours. They don't care about anything that actually puts them in position to shine the light on something that's wrong, because they don't want to lose people, because they work for people and they don't work for the Most High. That's the difference. And for the most part, like, if you present your body a living sacrifice, at that point, you can't actually care for the things of the world. When it comes to when the rubber meets the road, when you have to make a choice, the choice has to be Yahuwah, and the world has to shun you. They have to say, look, I don't like them because they said this, but they didn't say anything. 9 times out of 10, they probably repeated something that they didn't want to hear, that cut them, that came from the scripts.